What is going on, everybody? My name is Andy Christopher, and I would like to welcome all of you to the DILF Show. Now, before we fully get into it and I explain why we're here, what I'm doing, all that good stuff, I want to start you off with a story. And this story, like this entire podcast, it starts with a father. It starts with my father, Jeff. And as I'm telling this story, I really want you to be there because this to me is one of the most consummate experiences of what it's like to actually be a dad. And looking back on it, I can actually feel how he must have felt in this moment. So my sister Laura and we went over to my dad's house and we were cleaning his car. Okay. He had this Acura Legend and we did it up to the nine. We completely cleaned out everything, nooks and crannies. We waxed it. We did everything. It was so beautiful. And as we were finishing up, my dad was thanking us and he was, proud that we helped him and all that good stuff. And we decided to either go get some food or, I can't remember where we were going. Maybe my dad was just taking us back home. And I really was super thirsty. I wanted a Coke. And my dad was like, there's no way that Coca-Cola is coming into this brand, like spanking clean car, right? You're not bringing that in here. And so I'm like, Dad, please. Like, I need to have this Coke. He asked me, just have water. Like, why don't you want water? I'm like, I want a Coke. And so finally he lets me in the car, and I'm sitting in like the middle of the back seat, not on one side. I'm, seat belted up. My sister's in the front seat. And we're about halfway there, and my dad's telling a story and something happens, but I put the open Coke that I've just opened down by my feet. And the next thing you know it, I knock it over. I just knock it over with my foot, and it's all over the floor mats. It's all over everything. It's seeping into it. And I'm just like, oh shit, I'm dead. I don't know what to do here. And so I'm like, I just got to tell him it. Like a minute and a half pass. I'm like, I tap him on the shoulder. I'm like, Dad? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I spilled my drink over. And he doesn't say anything immediately. And I'm like, Dad, like, what's going on? He's like, son, I told you, I didn't want you to bring that Coke into the car. And I'm like, Dad, I know, I'm so sorry. I'll clean it up. He's like, nope, the damage is already done. So I'm still thirsty. I haven't really drank a lot of it. The entire thing just spilled out. And my dad has a water bottle, one of those Arrowhead water bottles just up in the front seat. And I bravely, in retrospect, after a couple of minutes, I tap him on the shoulder again. I'm like, Dad? He's like, yes. I'm just so frustrated. Can I please have a sip of water? And no sooner did I finish saying the letter R in water, he grabs it and just squeezes so much just directly into my face, just squeezes almost all the water bottle on me. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, Dad, what did you do that for? He's like, what? You didn't tell me you wanted to drink it. And I think about that moment so much because, being a kid, you don't really know any better. You really don't have any comprehension of anything outside of your little circle of friends. At this point, I was only, I don't know, 9 years old, 10 years old. It's just, happiness and smiles and laughter in school and friends and sports and all this stuff. But thinking about now that I'm a dad and going back into that moment, going into the vault a little bit, just the absolute and utter soul crushing, you got your car cleaned, you've already made it known you don't want the Coke in there. And, having the soda then spill over, just the absolute and utter restraint that must have taken place within my dad was already admirable. But then to get hard sold on, giving your son some water, I'm surprised he didn't throw me out of the car at that point. And that is, to me, kind of a quintessential experience in what it means and what it's like to be a dad. And that is really what brings us to, what brings you and brings us to this podcast. like I said at the beginning, my name's Andy Christopher. I live here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Julia, and I now have a 14-month-old son named Arlo, who is just the light of our lives. And for the longest time, I've really been wanting to get some type of podcast out there. And to be perfectly honest, you can see how if I ever post this on, for video purposes as well, you can see how janky of a setup it is, because I don't really know what the hell I'm doing. And so much has led into this moment of just getting in front and just kind of telling the tale and telling the story of what it's like to be a dad and how to grow into being, a father, a mentor, someone that your son or your daughter, your children look up to. I've really been wanting to get this message out, and I'm absolutely petrified. So first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for coming along for the ride. This is going to be a weekly journey, and it's really designed to be just a chronicling. And originally I wanted to do it every single week from when Arlo was born. I wanted to start off and just say, hey, here's what's going on this week. Here's what we're learning. Here's what we're going through. But as we're getting through it, first and foremost, there's just no freaking time. I mean, there was no time to do it. Whatever time you think you have as a parent, as a father, it doesn't exist. It goes away completely in those first few weeks, those first few months. There is nothing else, between the sleep deprivation, between learning how to, get bottles ready, between, just being there for your significant other. It just doesn't exist. And so that idea quickly went out the window. So then I just started taking notes. I just started writing everything down and saying, you know what, at some point this is going to get out there. And, the design of this is, I still don't know shit about being a good dad, a good father, a mentor, or anything like that. And still, I seek out answers. I've gone online and I try to learn things as I'm going along. Julia has done a wonderful, wonderful job on, learning how to cook for Arlo and the different milestones, the different updates, when to expect a sleep regression, all these things that we'll talk about throughout the course of this journey. But now moving forward, yeah, it is going to be kind of a weekly chronicling of what it's like. But at the very onset, we're going to take a step back. We're going to go retroactively and look at, the steps that got me to this point. And who knows, we may catch up at some point. We may not. I'm not really certain just yet, but my goal, and as I was doing research, my main goal is to give information to dads who might be really, really confused. It is the most scary undertaking that you'll ever undergo, but also one of the most fulfilling things, if not the most fulfilling thing that you'll ever do in your entire life. And, I want to be very clear. I work in the mortgage industry. I'm not, my life's purpose is not to be a dad. It is part of the journey of being with Julia, being with my significant other, and saying, you know what, you and I would make wonderful kids together. And I love you so much that I want to create another one of us. And I think that we both share that same exact feeling in terms of what the expectation was for our relationship. And as I was researching more and more and more, I'm like, a lot of this is just geared towards women, towards being a mother, towards, there's breastfeeding forums, there's pumping forums, there's, sleep forums, and they all appear to be geared towards the mother. And I'm like, light bulb right there. What if we just started opening up the discussion and sharing, the real stories, the real shit about being a dad, and providing at least some type of a roadmap, if not just a wailing wall, a listening wall, whatever you want to call it, for not only new dads out there, wherever you're at in your fatherhood journey, just something for informational purposes, for entertainment purposes, whatever it might be. There's just not a ton out there for dads. And it's kind of one of those unspoken things that dads just kind of need to figure it out. you're just along for the ride. I heard some utter lie fairy tale that said, you know what? Excuse me. Dads, they don't do anything during the first year of fatherhood. And I can tell you that's not true. If you're doing it the right way, that's not true, because within the first 24 hours, I'd probably done 6 months worth of stuff. And we'll get all into that in later episodes. But there is so much to do and so much to learn and so much to unpack each and every single day that it just kind of blows my mind that, that kind of lie, that kind of rumor is floating around out there. It absolutely baffles me. So the design here, yes, obviously I want to connect with fathers. I want to connect with soon to be fathers, new fathers, longtime fathers, wherever you're at. I want to connect with you, and I want to make sure you know that you're absolutely not alone. And, but that being said, it's meant for all parents. There's going to be stories about moms and how to take care of your significant other, and funny stories about what happens with the kiddo that is shared between the two of us, and really frustrating moments and how to overcome those moments within your relationship and how to be there for your spouse. There's going to be a little bit of something for everyone. Eventually, we're going to start bringing on dads and moms and people to share their stories and tell their tales. And we're going to dive into different topics. We're going to dive into different things related to not only caring for your child, but also just kind of what to expect along the way. And it's not going to be pretty just because, parenthood isn't pretty. It's like I used to tell all my referees back at UCI, back at University of Iowa, when I was in the field of campus rec. Parenthood is the imperfect pursuit of perfection. You're never going to get there. You just kind of have to stumble your way forward and keep failing forward, keep learning something that is going to improve you a little bit on how to take care of that kid. And as soon as you have your kid figured out, the playbook changes and something completely new presents itself. And the hope is that if you're a dad, if you're a mom, if you're thinking about having kids out there, that this provides some help to you, that you understand that, I'm going to be here telling you the real shit. The real stuff as it's occurring throughout our parenting journey. And you're not going to find this stuff on Instagram. You're not going to find this stuff on social media because it's not pretty. We just went to this event just a couple of days ago for Halloween. And, the photos that we posted, it looks wonderful. It's just like, oh, Arlo's smiling. He's so beautiful. Oh, he's trick-or-treating. That's so great. This and that. And the moments leading up to that, the time that it takes to get to that moment, to get to that photo, are ideally the things that I'm going to cover throughout the course of this podcast. And, I'm going to learn just as much from all of you out there as hopefully you're able to take away and tease out from the discussion here. It's going to be real. It's going to be gritty. It's going to be ongoing. Something that is always and constantly evolving. But we'll really see where it's going to take us. And as you can see, it started with a story. I love telling stories. I love just, being in a group of people, whether it's large or small, and, sharing things and getting the reactions, getting the feedback. So you're going to hear a lot of stories. And if you see how janky this setup is, we're actually in Arlo's room right now. And I'm looking around at all this stuff that has been gifted to us, that we purchased, looking at his bookshelf, looking at a bookshelf that was made by my best friend, Matt, for Arlo. That's an A shape, and there's pizza in it, and all the little things that now become kind of etched into history. And, there's a little bit of history in all of these little things. And it's going to be so fun and so exciting to share all of that with each and every one of you, because creating that roadmap, I think in today's day and age, we all crave to know, am I ready to have a child? What's it going to be like when the child gets here? What's my relationship going to be like with my significant other when we do have a kid or multiple kids? Are things going to change? Are they going to be different? Are they going to be better? Are they going to be worse? This is really scary stuff. And I can tell you from experience that it's a little bit of everything. And we'll go into the bad just as much as we go into the good. And hopefully, she's not here right now. She's at work at the hospital, but hopefully Julia will be able to join us, contribute, let me know where I'm full of shit. Let me know where I'm spot on. Let me know where we've evolved and kind of what you all can expect from her side of the deal as well. But ideally, yes, I want to provide information to dads out there to become better dads. I want us to be, mentors and leaders and the term father figures for our little children, because it's such a crazy day and age right now. And you can kind of hear the hesitancy in my voice, because to a certain degree, it's, what can you say? What can't you say? And I'm really going to try and be as authentic and honest and tell you exactly what I've experienced as best as I can. And eventually, what we're going to be experiencing is this back and forth dynamic where I'm reading your stories, I'm reading your jokes, I'm reading your questions and using those as springboards and platforms to the next topic, to the next episode, whatever it might be. And I want this to be supremely interactive. We've got the social medias cranking. At the D.I.L.F Show is going to be the Instagram handle, the D.I.L.F Show on Facebook. This is just like I said, a starting point. And I'm going to look to collect all this data and hear everything that's coming in from all of you, because I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. I want to hear the things that are working for you as parents, the advice that you have for new parents or parents of a 2-year-old, parents of a 5-year-old, what it's like to send your child to school and watch them walk into the door. And then all of a sudden you're just like, what do I do now? What do I do with my time now? And we're going to experience this journey together. And that to me is kind of the quintessential purpose of why I'm here and why I've started the D.I.L.F Show. In the first episode, we're going to talk about how to prepare to really be a father, and to some degree, how to prepare to be a parent. But kind of like this podcast, I'm just trying to fail forward. I'm just trying to figure it out as I go. And, I really, really am just so looking forward to sharing some of this stuff and, having you all take a little something away. It's going to be really, really wonderful. So that being said, once again, my name is Andy Christopher. I have started the D.I.L.F Show. It's designed for dads. It's going to be something else that there's not a ton of information out there on. And we're going to learn how to be better parents, each and every single one of us. I don't know if what I'm doing is right or wrong at this point, but I know that Arlo is happy. I know that we are very, very fortunate. And, we practice gratitude each and every day. It doesn't come without its frustrations. There are just as many bad days as there are good. And it's about experiencing it together. It's about being open, honest, communicating. And I want you all to be a part of that journey and a part of that ride. So I'm going to be signing off for now. This one was short and sweet, really just kind of an introduction to what to expect and what's to come. And on next week's episode, we're really going to dive into what you can do to prepare to be a better father, be a better dad, and kind of what's waiting for you on the other side of, day one, waiting on the other side of being in the delivery room. And let's see where it takes us. So this is Andy Christopher. I am signing off for today, but I love you, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. Thank you so much. Figure out how to stop this thing.